You know that feeling, right? You share some amazing news, something you are genuinely proud of, but after the conversation, you don't feel happy. You just feel weirdly uneasy. Well, today we're going to figure out exactly why that happens. Just think about it for a second. Your friend didn't say anything mean. They didn't get into an argument with you. Nope. They just asked a question. But for some reason, that simple question just sticks in your head, playing on a loop long after the conversation is over.
And here's the thing. That feeling, it's not you being paranoid or just overthinking things. It's actually your intuition picking up on a very subtle psychological game that, honestly, most of us miss. See, this is where we usually get jealousy all wrong. We expect it to be this big, obvious thing, like blatant insults or someone ghosting you. But in real life, it's so much quieter. It loves to hide behind polite curiosity, fake-sounding concern, and questions that seem totally harmless on the surface. So what we're going to do today is put on our detective hats. We are going to break down 3 of these so-called harmless questions. We'll get into why people ask them, what they really mean, and how you can tell the difference between real friendship and hidden jealousy. All right, let's open up our first case file. I call this one the investigator. This is the friend who hears your good news and immediately flips into full-on interrogation mode.
So they hit you with this one. Wow, how did you even get that? I mean, it seems normal enough, right? People are curious. But listen, psychologically, the words don't matter nearly as much as the tone.
And that is the absolute key. The tone isn't excitement, it's disbelief. A supportive friend is excited for you first. A jealous friend is skeptical. Their brain is just worrying, trying to solve this puzzle. Wait a minute, if I couldn't get that, how in the world did you? It comes from a place of disbelief, not joy.
And the investigation rarely stops there. It almost always leads to these kinds of follow-ups. See the theme here? Every single question is trying to find some outside reason for your success. It had to be luck, or someone helped you, or maybe it's not even real. Anything to avoid giving you the credit.
And this breaks it down perfectly. A supportive friend celebrates first, then they get curious. A jealous friend investigates first, because figuring out the how is their way of mentally shrinking your achievement down to a manageable size.
Okay, let's move on to question number 2, the doubter. Now, this one is maybe the most dangerous of all, because it comes disguised as actual concern. So you've just achieved something amazing, you're on top of the world, and instead of enjoying the view with you, they ask this. It's designed to immediately make you think about falling. It plants a tiny seed of doubt right when you should be feeling your most powerful.
And that is exactly what's going on under the surface. This isn't care, it's doubt wearing a costume. Psychologically, they aren't worried you'll fail. They're kind of hoping your success is just a flash in the pan.
So why? Why would they do that? Well, because a temporary win is safe for their ego. It doesn't really change anything. But permanent, stable success? Whoa, that forces them to compare themselves to you, and it creates this uncomfortable feeling that you're not on the same level anymore.
And this really is the core difference. A true friend acts like a bodyguard for your confidence. They want you to win and to keep winning. A jealous friend, on the other hand, pokes at your confidence, testing it for weaknesses.
All right, time for our third and final question. I call this one the minimizer. This one is all about speed, about rushing you right past your own celebration before you've even had a chance to enjoy it. You know how this goes. You share your amazing news, and you get a quick, "Oh, cool," or "Okay," and then, bam, immediately, "So, what's next?" They change the subject away from your accomplishment so fast it could give you whiplash. There's actually a psychological term for this. It's called minimization. By moving the goalposts immediately, they get to skip over having to sit with your success in the present moment. And why? Because sitting in your success forces them to look at their own life, and they might not like what they see.
I mean, just look at this contrast. It could not be more clear. A real supportive friend tells you to stay right here, to soak it all in. A jealous friend pushes you forward, not because they're so excited for your future, but because they are deeply uncomfortable sitting in your spotlight right now.
So this brings us to a really big question, right? Why does this stuff so often come from people who are supposed to be our closest friends, the ones in our corner?
Well, let's get into the psychology of it. A stranger on the street isn't comparing themselves to you. But your close friends? They are. They know your whole backstory. They remember you when you were struggling. And when you suddenly start growing and changing, it messes up the neat little story they had written for you in their head. And that can be really, really jarring for them.
And here's the super important point. This discomfort doesn't automatically mean your friend is some evil person who hates you. Often, it's just that their own internal confusion and insecurity bubbles up to the surface, and it comes out as these kinds of probing, doubting questions.
So what are you supposed to do with all this information? I mean, you don't want to start fights or blow up friendships. The answer is actually about protecting yourself and your own energy.
And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway. This awareness isn't a tool to start arguments. It's a shield. It helps you be a little more strategic, a little more careful about who you share your biggest victories with. You save that precious news for the people who'll throw the confetti with you, no questions asked.
And I'll just leave you with this final thought. Remember that not everyone who asks you a question is actually looking for an answer. Sometimes they're just looking for confirmation of their own biases. And learning to see that difference, that is a true superpower.